Hello, I'm going to show you how to bulk load film. When you're bulk loading film, you're going to need your film cartridge. Before you select which cartridge you're going to use for the project, you want to think about what kind of conditions you're going to be taking your photographs in. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to use ISO 400 today. After having the cartridge for ISO 400, I'm going to go ahead and find the bulk loader that uses ISO 400 speed. So this bulk loader is Kodak T-Max 400 black and white. I'm going to go ahead and load this into my cartridge today. The cartridge is made out of 4 pieces, 2 end pieces, an outer cover, and then this inside piece I like to call the spindle. The spindle has 2 different ends, one end that's more flat and another end that sticks out a little bit more. It's important to notice the end that sticks out a little bit more. Now, when I grab the bulk loader, I'm going to go ahead and open this chamber. Inside of this chamber is the film. I'm going to tape the film to the spindle. To tape the film, I need about 2 inches of tape, enough tape to reach from the film around the spindle and then back onto the other side of the film. When I'm adhering the tape to the film, I want to make sure that I don't pull too much film out. I want to put the tape on there right in the middle, press it pretty hard so it's nice and stuck, and then take the spindle, match it up with this little tape diagram I put here for you. Make sure that the longer end of the spindle is matched up with the little piece of tape that sticks out a little bit further. Make sure that the film is going to go straight on to the spindle, and then I'm going to wrap the tape all the way around the spindle before I tape it back onto the other side of the film. It's really, really important. If the spindle is not adhered well to the film, if there's gaps where the tape isn't all the way around the spindle, you run the risk of having issues with the film inside of your camera. The next step that I'm going to do is prepare to put the outer part of the cartridge around the spindle. The first thing I'm going to do is take one of these ends and go ahead and snap it over the edge of the cover. And then you'll notice that the cover has 2 different sides. One side that's flatter, and then another side that has a barcode on it. You always want to make sure that when you're sliding the cover over the film with the bulk loader, that the barcode is down and that the flatter side is up. There's also an edge that is open that has kind of a felted finish to it. This is going to slide over the film. So I'm just going to go ahead, take this, slide the film through the felted edge, and then I'm going to take this cap and put this over so that way the cartridge is all sealed and ready to transfer the film from the bulk loader into the cartridge. I always twist the ends a little bit just to make sure that they're not going to pop off super easily. Now I'm going to tuck this back inside of the cartridge. Well, tuck the cartridge back into the bulk loader. Close the chamber. It's important while I'm cranking the film from the bulk loader into the cartridge that this chamber remains shut. If it accidentally opens while I'm cranking film in there, I'll end up with a stripe of black on my film. Alright, this is going to stay closed. I'm going to turn the bulk loader over to its side and I'm going to take a look at the crank. The crank has a slot where there is the opposite piece inside of this opening that's going to fit inside of that slot. So I always peek inside of there first, make sure that this is going to slide right onto that piece. Basically, if it doesn't slide onto that piece, you'll have something like this, where there's like a little gap of metal between the crank and the bulk loader. You want it to be nice and flush against there. So I'm going to take another look. Okay, nice and flush against, right like that. Then I'm going to look at the side of the bulk loader again. There's an arrow here to help you know which direction to turn the crank in. The amount of times you turn the crank is the amount of exposures you will have to take for your project. Typically your projects are 24 exposures, so you would turn the crank 24 times, and then I suggest turning it 1 extra time for good luck. Today, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to turn the crank 4 times and 1 time for good luck. Make sure that you count. If you have to count out loud, count out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 for good luck. As I'm pulling this handle out, you'll hear a strange sound. Don't be alarmed. That is just the film expanding inside of the cartridge. I'm going to place this down. I'm going to open the chamber, pull the film out about 2 inches, and cut a nice straight edge right between 2 sets of sprocket holes. If you have a newer camera, you're ready to load your film. If you have an older camera, you again need to pay attention to that edge where the spindle sticks out a little bit more, and you're going to have to cut a tab that is on the same side as that piece. To cut the tab, you're just going to take your scissors and cut perpendicularly into the film. After about 5 sprocket holes, I'm going to go ahead and gently start to curve that up. This piece is going to get thrown in the trash, and this you're ready to load into your camera.